Well, let's talk about YouTube. Obviously, the Eboys, you know, he's going to come up at some point.
Right. I've noticed a few Sidemen mentions of the E-Boys. I'll get it from like get it from like an Instagram story. It's like, what do you think of like what Zerka said in the latest Simon Sunday? And I'm like, oh God, what's the time code? I was like, oh, now I've got to watch an hour-long video to find like a 10-second mention.
Wait, and what did they say?
I to be honest, I don't know if I found it.
Well, you know, you're in the Sidemen. What did you say?
I mean, it's all jokes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, so
we normally just say like they didn't.
Another one bites the dust or something.
Yeah.
They've gone. One down. Beta Squad next.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you've always done it with Beta Squad anyway because they don't upload, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. We stopped uploading at the same time. Beta Squad.
You uploaded Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Was your last video?
Yeah.
Their last video.
Good video, to be fair.
Their last video was Christmas Day.
Really? God,
Yeah. You guys carried on. You guys carried on with the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, the podcast was quite big for you after that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of doing videos.
Because we knew we weren't going to be doing the videos for a while. Because like I was very wary of like COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And now obviously the cases are down. I'm actually vaccinated now. So I actually got vaccinated so soon after the E-Boys ended. But that's the reason we weren't really recording in person.
Yeah.
And then we kept the podcast going. And I think Will at one point was just like, I don't enjoy podcasts. So he's like, I'm not a podcaster. And he'd rather spend the energy doing other things. And at that point we had the conversation. It was like, yeah, that's it.
So I guess was it just a case of we don't know what to make anymore?
Well, I think it's like we knew that the videos would be coming back. We were planning like a big thing for kind of like late May, early June.
Yeah.
And then we were going to get like a studio for the podcast, a studio for shoots.
Yeah.
And then I think Will just had this conversation. He was like, even if it went back to doing all the videos and stuff, I don't really know if that's kind of what I want to be doing. Because he was doing the JD stuff for quite a while now as well. I think he's coming to the end of that contract. And I don't know if it's really, you know, that's the kind of stuff that he wants to be doing in the future. So he said like, yeah, even if it went back to that, I don't know if I'd want to do it anymore. And I think all of us just kind of agreed. Will said like, you guys could continue doing it, you three. I completely understand. Like I give you all my shares. And I was just like, doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't.
It's like at that point, it's like, even if I wanted to do a group thing, I don't think I could do a group thing with Alex and George now and not have Will in it because it's so established as that.
It's tough. Like imagine you guys, like if one of you wasn't in there, it'd be weird, right?
It would be weird.
You'd film and you'd be like, oh, waiting for that joke from that person, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
you'd get quite sad.
But it's so established. It's like and bear in mind, like E-Boys were only around for like realistically, we were like uploading for maybe 7 months. So it's like for you guys, that's like even longer established chemistry.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't work. Every comment for the next however long is just going to be about it.
Yeah. How long do you see the Sidemen lasting?
No idea till I make enough that I can say fuck you to everyone.
But I mean,
I don't know. We actually spoke about that a while ago, and we were like, when Harry's the youngest by like 2 years, maybe a year and a half or whatever. We were like, when he hits 30, we were like, at that point we're all old. Like,
what are you then? You like 38 then?
Wow.
Why?
Well, why? Well, Harry's how old's Harry now?
Why?
Well, Harry's like, what,
why
24?
Did that just happen? Well,
I'm just trying to do maths. I'm trying to do maths in my head.
He is 24.
So it makes you...
But he's 25 in November. I would have just turned 29. So I'll be 34 when he's 30.
Not bad. That's fine. But content, I don't know.
But I think, but even then, I don't think it'd be done. I think it would just be like try and do less, but bigger videos.
Well, I mean, like PKA still do podcasts like all those years on. Like, I think that's the way I saw it. I was like, I don't know. Even with the E-Boys and where I wanted to go with it, I was like, I imagine us doing videos for a while, but I wouldn't mind doing a podcast until like I'm not on the internet or I just fully quit social media because I just enjoy podcasting.
Yeah.
So it's just a shame that wasn't like really what everyone else wanted from it.
That's the trouble, really. It's always hard to in group things to have everyone on the same page.
Yeah,
I think. So you said it was 7 months, was it? Since you've
God, yeah. I feel like we started in April because I made a video on a guy called Nikocado Avocado. I made a video on his OnlyFans, just like I made it on his Twitter account.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, I think I messaged George on the day because it was when the whole COVID stuff was starting. And I was like, I just want to do like more videos. So midweek, I'm just going to record a collab with just a random creator online. So I did one with Curtis Connor. I was going to do one with Wilbur, but that ended up taking a little longer. And Wilbur cancelled on me, said he had something else. And I was like, that's absolutely fine. Who can I hit up that will just do it this day with me? And I messaged George and I was like, oh, George will do a video with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were playing a lot of clubs at the time. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to invite Alex as well. Like he's probably free. So I messaged Alex. I messaged Will, I messaged Fraser as well, but obviously that then happened.
Yeah.
And the video ended up being like really funny. Like I honestly look at that video on my channel, like that's one of the funniest videos I've ever made.
Yeah.
And then I think Will messaged me a few days after it was up, was like, do you reckon we can do this as a group thing? And then that was April. So, and then it all started as like, the thing is, when you make a group channel in the UK, you make your first video and then automatically it's like Sidemen, Beta Squad, Eboys. Those are the three YouTube groups.
It is that, yeah.
And it's like, I almost feel like that kind of pressure didn't really help it because I honestly think the funniest videos we made, the funniest one was probably the green screen one we did, which was just in our setups. And we just like went away, made some like really cursed green screens using other people's, stuff, and then just reacted to them. And that was honestly, I think, one of the funniest videos we made. And then it's like, we should be doing these studio shoots. We should be like having like the Bake Off video, which was good.
Yeah.
And like the Secret Santa video, which I actually thought was really good as well. But then it became very like, there was a lot of pressure put on it.
Yeah.
And then it starts becoming less like that thing we just did to distract ourselves and like just have another project going on during COVID, and it becomes this huge project and the next big thing we're all doing.
Yeah, well, I guess most of you, well, all of you in the Eboys, or you created those type of videos at your desk,
That's the name.
Exactly. Yeah. So then I guess you have to make sure that's kind of like
I felt like it was your
style.
Niche part of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think the one person that really, I mean, I think George and me are definitely more kind of behind the desk creators, but Alex thrived like in a studio.
Fair enough.
And I think he agrees with that as well. Like, I think he kind of like took a big break from like his main channel because he was like, I enjoy being in like in a studio shoot setting, and he was fucking hilarious. And a lot of those videos, like he carried, and he was like seeing, I think he said he was seeing for the first time comments being like, wow, Alex was amazing in this video. Alex carried this, and that was huge for him. And obviously Will is just like very good in front of camera, I think. But yeah, no, it is what it is. I think it's always difficult to see a project like disappear, but it's cool. The memories are cool.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's always interesting when these like the groups form, because often it can be natural, but often it can be very unnatural as well. Like, so when you guys start doing your more studio videos, that was because you started Cyber Sunday because of the Cyber show, didn't you?
Yeah,
which is a massive like high production, film almost. TV show every single week, blah blah blah, or day. Whereas that's how you transition to do the more studio videos. Whereas if you guys started before that, you probably would have actually done more desk-based videos, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
that's what you guys all do. Even JJ to an extent.
Yeah,
done a lot of skits before, but most of it's just. I mean, look at him now. It's all reaction-based, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
all Reddit and reactions.
Yeah, but
well, I guess you
had that
fulfill
studio.
that side of like the studio level of it. You fulfill that doing the Cyber videos. There's one that comes out every single week, so it's like, why would you need to then go like, I need to book a studio for this other video I'm doing,
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can just get by doing, your own stuff in your own, the comfort of your own home, then why not,
Yeah.
But I felt like it was like a good time for us, especially when Beta Squad and E-Boys were both doing like a lot. It was one of those things where I felt like all of us were like, okay,
you got keep going.
We need to step up.
That's cool.
Again.
Honestly, being on the other side of it, it's like a really cool feeling.
I liked that it felt like all three groups were kind of going like, all right, we need to do our own thing that's gonna make us,
better.
Basically better than the last week. And oh, our video last week was sick. Oh, they've just uploaded this. Oh, that's sick. Oh, okay, we need to do a really good video this week.
Yeah.
And it was just making everyone like,
in a way, because I think that's why we started doing the studio shoots, because we were like, all of a sudden now we're being compared to these other guys who put a lot of budget into their videos, who go out and do stuff, and I'm like, God, I have to leave the house for the first time in 6 months. This is weird. And it was like a really, it felt like a lot of growth was happening there, not even just in terms of like numbers. It was like, wow, I'm doing like all of this new stuff, and it was very like an inspiring moment to be kind of seen, especially like you make a group channel and it's like, wow, now you're in the same conversation as like these people that have been around for years. That was like a really cool moment. So it's kind of cool to hear you talk about it as if like noticing the other groups going on as well. It's nice.
I think it's always the case.
There's definitely some other groups that I'm forgetting. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, the thing is like those three groups have connections within them.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So like, obviously, I mean, you guys didn't the Sidemen? Am I right in saying the Sidemen shouted out Will like in a podcast quite early on? I'm thinking like when he first blew up.
Probably
with the BG
it might have
stuff.
been we did like awards or whatever awards,
right? Yeah,
and it might have been like.
So I think like, I mean, even like going back that far, it's like there was always that like little connection. So
I think most things in the UK come from KSI one way or another, whether it's like a direct shout out or massive inspiration. He's just like the Lord. Okay, so
I think like because obviously I grew up like fairly near. Because obviously I don't think you guys would have been able to drive to my friend's house if we didn't live like fairly near. So when JJ first blew up, that was huge.
We were around like Watford.
Yeah, so I'm like Aylesbury.
Oh, mad. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I was from Hemel, but
okay. Right. Yeah. No.
I say Watford because no one knows where.
Yeah. No. I think. What can you say? What school you went to?
Yeah, I went to Burko. It's
okay. Yeah, I went to Aylesbury Grammar School.
Oh, okay.
So I think our schools played rugby together.
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not me.
No, neither. But no. So when he started doing well, that was like a big talk in our school. So we were on to that kind of stuff like very early on. I didn't even play FIFA until like JJ's videos on it were blowing up, and then I was like, oh yeah, you need to play Ultimate Team, and it's like, oh yeah, this card is beast.
Yeah,
and like, all of this
sick,
stuff and shit like that. And
it was a great era.
Yeah, no, it was just so different. But it's like weird how like when you're kind of making YouTube videos in the UK now, it's just kind of like you look back to the kind of, you know, the JJs, also Joe Weller, like when like coming from commentary as well. And like being a British commentator, a lot of people look towards like that Joe Weller type of like early content, like roasting stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Because even Joe Weller came from JJ. Like he was very talented. I think he always would have done well, but JJ gave him that massive boost.
For sure.
I remember because he always used to message people, and he messaged me saying, "Oh, look at this video, the How to Be KSI." And I sent it to JJ, and then JJ shared it, and then Joe just went.
We get it. Joe owes everything to you.
Yeah, Joe Weller. No. But what I'm saying is that's like KSI just tweets a video, and then you're now a famous YouTuber.
That used to be the thing back in the day.
Was,
like if I liked a video, it actually did something. Like now, you like a video, doesn't.
No,
do
nothing.
No.
Yeah, so JJ, if JJ liked my video, it'd get like 60K views straight away.
Really?
Just because the way the
So it
algorithm
was
worked
shared
in
on
YouTube.
Twitter as well.
Yeah.
And at that time, Twitter actually meant something.
Yeah.
If you tweet out a video, it actually got
views. Yeah.
It's crazy. But again, it's not like Joe was never going to do anything on his own, but it's just that acceleration.
Yeah. I think the thing about Joe is he had such a good, like, unique personality for it. Like, very gripping. And I remember, like looking at the way, I mean, I even, like, a video I made last year, I remember using a piece of music that he used once in an old video. And I was just like, this is just iconic sounding to me because he did it.
Yeah.
So
his Internet Melts was like
huge.
It was like You've Been Framed, but funny commentary.
And for like something that's like relatable to us.
And for young people, exactly.
Yeah. I used to speak to my parents all the time. I was like, oh, check this video out. Like, Joe's just so funny.
I remember
Buxton Water. I used to
Washing machine.
Yeah, I used to like laugh at that so much. I was like, this is peak humor.
This is incredible.
And then now I'm like, it's a bit cringe.
I remember I showed my dad a KSI video, like when the stuff happened with my friend Harry, and my dad. I distinctly remember my dad saying, "You know what? You could do this. You got better presents than he does." And I was just like, Dad, I think you might be wrong. like categorically incorrect, but thanks for the confidence boost. And then he hated it. The fact that I started doing YouTube and not doing like regular jobs.
So he's like, oh, you should do this.
Yeah. And then,
but not really.
Like, thanks for your permission. And then like, obviously when you're not earning money from it, he's like, why is he spending 10 hours a day making a video?
But that's where it always comes from. That natural, you wanting to do it for the fun of it is where people most likely fall into these types of situations, and especially with like the Sidemen, even Eboys. You know, I'm sure that it was natural, like you say. You know, you played clubs.
Yeah, it was really natural. I remember when we did that video where we had to like the video we did where you got like together a bunch of like YouTubers around the 1 million mark and got them to kind of choose who gets money.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember that finishing and Alex and I speaking to you about the group channel that we were going to make at the time.
And you had 2 names for it.
Yeah, the Tower, and I think it was Eboys. I think the other one might have been Eboys back then.
I think there was a third.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was like, at one point...
it was like Simps or something.
No, it was like, probably. I think we were going to at one point be Alpha Males.
That was it. Yeah. It was Alpha Males, but there was a few you were like throwing ideas. And one of them was, I remember Alpha Males sticking as well.
And then, but then it was like Beta Squad, Alpha Males. It's kind of like the ironic joke doesn't really work when you have another ironic joke that is the level lower.
Because the Tower, they were all ironic names, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then you had also the Tower.
Yeah, which was kind of like, which just feels a bit industrial, doesn't it?
It's also, as soon as one of you moves out, it's like, okay, well,
there's no longer the Tower.
Are they not in the Tower anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, someone, Randolph just moved in.
Yeah, no, Randall's in the Tower.
Raj joined. Cheers, man.
No.
I think Eboys, I mean, maybe it's like now looking back because it's already established or, was established that Eboys was the best.
Yeah, it worked. I think it really worked because it was like also a term that people were using, just in general, like in an ironic way. And then also we managed to get the ads for it. So it was like, this will do it.
We got it, yeah.
I find it so weird though how it actually does change the meaning of a word in terms of.
Yes.
I haven't seen anyone use the word e-boy unless you're talking about the group since you made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And
same with like Simon.
And same with like beta, beta. Yeah. I don't see that anywhere near as much.
Yeah. Especially within the people that do like keep up to date with the YouTube scene. And young people.
In our circles especially, right?
Yeah.
And it is weird though, like because you open yourself up to a completely different audience when you do a group channel, because all of a sudden you have every other member of that group, their dedicated fans now know who you are.
Yeah, and they might not like just because someone's a fan of even just because someone's a fan of like Minimum, it doesn't mean they're necessarily a fan of like KSI. Even though you guys are so close, it's like you have different audiences,
and that's why the group channel comments are the most brutal.
Yeah.
That is like then these aren't your subscribers anymore.
Yep.
Just get the armies going against each other.
Yes,
I hate it
because like I actually have like obviously like Will, George, and Alex we've all kind of fed it into each other's audiences, I guess, over the years. But like we all have very different audiences. Like Alex and I kind of drift more towards US and female, and then George's and Will's very much drift towards British and male.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously like when I go on a George video or a Will video, the amount of comments that are like, I've never laughed at a James Marriott joke, or, get this posh twat off my screen and shit like that. It's like, okay, right.
Yeah. It is crazy knowing that, we've got a group together, everyone should like us all equally, but it's just never the case.
No,
And you got to remember as well, I always find this funny, where it's like, you still got to remember, even though people are so big fans of, you guys individually, someone somewhere will just find one of your videos randomly, and they're now a fan of you. And I'm sure there's still someone who knows KSI or Miniminter or Vic or whoever, but doesn't know Sidemen. I guarantee someone.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Someone who just goes on YouTube. Oh, I'll watch Simon today, and just oblivious.
For some reason, I always thought that about my audience. I was like, my audience only care about like LA influencers that I talk about on roast. They don't care what I'm doing on the Eboys. They don't subscribe to the Eboys channel. So that was always a really weird one for me when people were like, when the Eboys ended and I saw comments on my main channel being like, I'm gonna really miss it or stuff like that. It's quite strange, but
it was quite a big thing on, because I don't see things on Twitter, but people like our group chat and stuff. Someone links it, and it was quite like a overwhelming response.
It
was quite a weird. It was quite a weird way of announcing it, though. I felt like it was surprising you didn't do a video. It was just it was like a
graphic,
right?
I think the thing is because we recorded a podcast, and then oh my god, the final podcast recording, it was so bad.
So did you record this podcast after you knew you were going to stop? So before you knew.
Oh my god, the final podcast will never get released, but it was just an absolute slug. Like usually like our podcasts were about an hour long. I used to go into the podcasts were like one of the highlights of my week. I love, especially when we had a guest. I used to prepare like questions. I prepare like a bit of like research on them. I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoy asking people like detailed questions about their past and themselves. And but when it came to the just the chill podcast, we just had like all the Eboys PA would just prepare like a list of topics and we just go through them, and it was pretty chill. But on the last recording, there were just so many problems. Like Will was in Newcastle, and he like before we started, we had like quite a tight schedule to get it done, and he didn't quite have enough charge on his camera, so we were like filming this hour-long podcast, stopping it every 15 minutes so that he could go and charge his camera. And we ended up being, and for an hour-long podcast, we ended up spending, I think it was at least 2 hours, and we all got to the end of it, and I just remember being like, oh my god, that is probably the worst recording we've ever done, because by the end of it, we were all just like, oh please God, let this fucking finish. And then I think that very much that energy very stretched into we don't enjoy this. We were like, Will especially was like, I just did not enjoy that at all. I remember speaking to George after it and going, God, that was horrific, wasn't it? So it was almost like we had, in a way, it's like you have this podcast about the thing ending, well, not about the thing ending, but before the thing ends. It would feel weird to post that podcast because it's ended and we didn't know it was ended by that point. But it's also weird to now record a different one. So I think the idea was instead like, let's not deep it. Let's just post the thing saying it's over. And then we said like, if any of us want to make videos on it, make videos on it. And I think Will made a video on it and Alex did. And then George made like a second channel video talking about like some elements of it a few days later. And I was just like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess that was that podcast kind of like spurred on the chat, I guess, or the actual.
I think just in general we've been speaking for a while.
Like what's next, or where do we go from here?
And then I think Will kind of expressed doubts a few weeks before, and then I think it was like a couple of days after we recorded that hellish podcast, he just said like, yeah, let's talk tonight. And then everyone was like, I think Alex and I joined the call first, and we were just both like,
what's going on?
We were like, we're about to be told off. I was like, it's over, isn't it? And he was like, yeah, I think it is.
Damn.
So would you take any aspects of Eboys for something in the future, do you reckon? Like, would you want to do a podcast now that you found out you enjoy it?
I think if I was to do one, it would be like very different. Like it wouldn't be like
Because you've done podcasts before, right? Like even before Eboys, of course.
But I don't like the thing is, it's like the Campcast was its own unique thing, and I really enjoyed doing it. The Eboys podcast was its own unique thing, and I really enjoyed doing it. I think if I was to do it now, it would just be specifically maybe like interviewing people,
right? Yeah.
Like it would be more like I try and get like smaller musicians on and stuff like that. Like I'd want
that
to
you're passionate about. Yeah, that you can put all your like work into.
I had the idea of like creating a separate channel for it, which is kind of not attached to me, but kind of like something that I work on, almost like and kind of doing it like you're laughing because I said before
no, it wasn't.
Almost like
yeah, I realized I saw you go.
I wish I did laugh at that because that would have been a good joke again.
Yeah, no,
but I'm not smart, unfortunately.
But I would quite enjoy doing something like that. But when it comes to like group channel stuff now, I can't really imagine doing a group channel. Yeah. I feel like announcing a group channel at this point, it'd be like, oh, here he goes again. Like in the same way that as soon as Will did another one, people were like, well, this is going to go soon because EXO, that got mudded. So
I feel like it's always going to be compared to anything you do as well before.
Yeah.
Or people will make assumptions. So say you started one tomorrow.
Yeah.
It would be, oh, is this as good as Eboys, etc. And also, oh, Will's not in it because you hate him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how have you made this assumption?
Well, that's the thing is like, especially when something ends as well, people always want to assume that there's some huge underlying beef going on because almost that's...
Always. YouTube love that, don't they? They love any...
But it only takes one confident person to make a rumor sound true.
Yeah.
Like they could literally go, oh, they split up because Alex met up with Will's mum and punched her.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, oh wow,
that's pretty nasty of him to be fair. Yeah, but
but then also you don't want to like highlight that, so you don't want to get involved. So if someone just start a rumor and you don't want to attach yourself to that because then it gives it like it makes it valid.
Yeah,
even though it doesn't.
Yeah,
people think that.
I quite like it because it was like all the information about it was put out immediately. Will immediately said like, yeah, I know I'm the one who spurred this on. I'm just gonna be the one who says like I'm gonna make a video on it and just say where my head was at and I watched the video back and I was like, yeah, everything he just said in that video is pretty much exactly what he said.
Yeah. That's good then. At least all cards on the table and everyone knows where they're
and
at.
That's what and that was it.
Yeah, that'd have been the worst if he had said something and then all three of you go,
what?
Hold on. That's not.
Yeah.
Imagine he's like, none of the guys wanted to do it. They all hated it. I tried keeping them together.
That's a nightmare. Yeah. He sent it to us all before. So it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'll just send it to you. And then I think it did. I think for Will, it was like, I remember seeing the views on it and I was like, oh, wow. And then Alex was like, I think I'm going to make one as well. And then Alex was like, yes, 1 in 10. Thanks, Will. Nice. So, we got some confetti out of it in the end for Will and Alex, which is the most important thing.
To be fair, there's no way I'd have missed the chance to.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The thing is, though,
leaving aside, man.
Bro, we split up, bro. I'm making that video within a second.
Yeah. Then on the second channel, then a clip of that on stream.
Yeah.
The thing is like, for me, my main channel is so different. Like, if I'm not making a main channel video on someone else or like analyzing something or kind of like picking apart something, I feel like I'm not going to like give myself a chance. So I was like,
pick apart the Eboys.
Yeah, maybe. But like I always felt like it's got to, because like my audience is 30-30, like it's like 30% UK, 30% US. And I was like, the US people, I feel like they don't care about the E-boys. So it's like, if I'm going to do anything, it's got to be like, I've got to find a middle ground between the two. So it just didn't really make sense for me, I don't think.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.